a lot of people want change, but they don't want to change. If you've been following my work, if you've been following my channel, you know that I'm a huge advocate for loving the life that you have, for falling in love with your current reality, for being shamelessly happy in the now. I truly think this is so important, especially since we do live in a society where we're constantly told to go for more, buy the next thing, go on that next trip, swap partner to get a better partner, all of those things. I believe there's huge power in actually celebrating and falling in love with the life that we have. And here comes the big and. I just had a conversation with a client and I was basically asking her, like, what feels like a fun, expansive goal until the end of the year? And I was telling her, like, wouldn't it be fun if you made like another 150 grand till the end of the year? And she was like, I was more so thinking about 10. And I told her, I love you, but this is a shit goal. And I want to tell you why this is a shit goal and why you need to be setting bigger goals. Now, before we dive into that, I quickly want to touch on a limiting belief that I have heard like a million times. And that is that a lot of people, when they set a big goal, they feel like they cannot love the life that they have. When they set a big goal, they're basically going to become so obsessed with that goal that everything else in their lives feels like shit. And that unless they reach that goal, they're going to be unhappy. Now, the art is to love the life you have, not to need to hit the goal, but to simply desire it. And I've mentioned this in other videos. It's literally a good thing if you love the life that you have, because you're no longer trying to escape the life that you have. You're no longer wasting your energy hating on the life that you have. You basically have this happy, clean energy of like, I like my life and here's what else I want. But so yeah, if you've been afraid that if you set a big goal, you're going to become over obsessed on the goal, it means you're going to hate the life that you have, or like the big goal frightens you so much, hear me out. If you want to dramatically change your life, whether that's like in your business, in your partnership, in health, in anything, if you want dramatic change, you have to dramatically change. And the truth is, a lot of people want change, but they don't want to change. And this is why I'm just honest. You are not going to create the reality that you really desire by basically doing the same thing you have been doing with like a slightly different twist. You might get a slightly different result, but if you want dramatic change in results, take dramatically different action. And this is where big goals come in. When you set a huge goal, like the one that I was talking about with my client, you can no longer operate on the system that you're currently running on the identity that you're currently being in. You can literally no longer rely on your current self to rationally create the result that you want, to create the path to that result. Your current self is gonna have no idea how to get there. And that's a good thing, because you're gonna be forced to tap into another version of you to create that result. And that other version of you is actually capable of creating the results. Also, by the way, can we talk about the fact that I'm doing this video literally with no makeup on? For a moment, I was like, I should definitely put on makeup before I record, but I just felt like I have to record this now. Like, screw it, I'll just do it without makeup. We'll survive. But yeah, as I said, it is crucial to set a bigger goal so that you can no longer operate from your current self to reach it. Your current self is going to be at a loss of options on how to get there, which is exactly our goal. And so how do we pick our goal? How do we pick a number if this is about money? But how do we pick the goal, like whatever it is? I like to literally just see what comes to me. And sometimes that will be like absolutely insane. And we're going to be like, yeah, but that can't be it. Again, our goal is not to know how we can make it happen from our current self. And if you don't just get an impulse and intuition of like the specific goal, one of the questions I really like to ask myself is like, wouldn't it be fun if? And then you can just play around with like different goals. Like, wouldn't it be fun if, that's what I said to my client, if I made 150K by the end of the year? And then you can feel in your body, like, is that something that feels exciting? Wouldn't it be fun if ... And like I said, there's a good chance you're gonna receive the number, the thing, and you're gonna be like, what the hell? That is not a sign that the goal is too big and you should be ditching the goal. The important thing is that when you really tune into the goal, it's something that really, really excites you. And yes, there might be a layer above this that feels like I have a hard time tapping into it because it feels that absurd. Try again, like connect with it. Can you somewhat vibe with the idea that this is going to be your life by, let's say, the end of the year. And with this, you really have to be honest with yourself. Because again, when I was talking to my client about this, I was like, would 10K until the end of the year really change anything for you? Yes, it would be more than you've previously made in that amount of time, but it wouldn't really change anything in your life. Like, yes, you would have slightly more money, you would have hit a slightly bigger goal, but is that what truly activates you? Is that what truly excites you? If, on the other hand, you would have made 150 grand by the end of the year, that would change everything, right? And as I said, if you want everything to change, and this is not because you hate your life, this is because you like your life and you want something else and you want something more. But yeah, think you would have 150 grand, this is just an example, by the end of the year. You could invest in different ways. You could have your money work for you. You could maybe purchase the freaking car you've been wanting forever. Like, that goal would be life-changing for you. And usually life-changing is what gets us to really move, to take bigger, bolder action, and that is what is required to get to the goal. And if you've been here for a while, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I am a huge advocate for making things easy, for building a belief system that has us believing that we don't have to work hard, we don't have to constantly stretch ourselves, all of those things. And at the same time, I'm down to earth enough and I'm experienced enough in being an entrepreneur and being a human to know that dramatic change needs dramatic change. So if this activated you now, I invite you to actually do this. Wouldn't it be fun if ... Or maybe you just receive a number, a goal in your mind, and then you can just run with that. Remember, it is not about knowing how to get there. It's about not knowing how to get there so you can unlock the version of yourself that actually has the capacity, the ability to get there. You're gonna have to open yourself up for new ways of thinking, for new ways of operating, and that's the whole point. And if you want, feel free to drop your goal in the comments. I know there's huge power in also really making a declaration around the things that we want. It's easier to kind of like hide around it because then like nobody's gonna see if we don't hit it, but that's already a leak in the system. It's okay if you think it's insane, but you want to somehow, somewhere build the faith that you can actually do it. Now, I hope you liked this video. Make sure to subscribe and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.